One of my clients paid me the highest compliment. She told me one day, you know what? I can sleep at night, I can go on vacation, and I never give my practice another thought because I know you're minding the store. And that meant everything to me because that is exactly what I'm trying to convey.
Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm with Joanne Pigliavento, the owner and operator of Flexible Billing Solutions located in upstate New York. Thank you so much, Joanne, for taking the time to talk to us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rachel. It's great to be with you.
I'm really excited to talk to you today. You're in upstate New York and you specialize in PT. Tell me a little bit about what your company does, what you specialize in. I know you specialize in PT, but tell us how that works up there and a little bit about your company.
So yeah, Flexible Billing Solutions has been in business since 2015. I have been in the medical billing business for 20 plus years. I've done multi-specialties, but right now, flexible billing focuses on, as you said, physical therapy billing. I primarily like to bill for the solo providers, small practices. I do love working with WebPT, which integrates with Therabill and Cario. I think they are superior systems, especially for physical therapists. Most of my providers have come to me already using WebPT and or Therabill and Cario, and I believe it is because they know it's a fantastic system for them. It makes their documentation so easy and so streamlined. The fact that that information integrates right into their practice management billing software cuts down on time and therefore money,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
most small practices very much appreciate. Yes.
Definitely. Why did you decide that I'm going to open my own medical billing business? I'm going to specialize in PT.
Well, that took a long time in coming. I didn't start my own business until I was, 53 years old. But I started down this track when I was 18 years old. I like to say that this industry chose me. I did not choose it. Just happened one day that I was at a local swim club, and I was just out of high school looking for work, and someone knew a thoracic surgeon that was in need of a receptionist at that time. And I thought, oh, I can do that. And so I interviewed and got the job. And he turned out to be a difficult person, a very demanding person. So yeah, I hit the ground running and realized that this isn't going to be as easy as I thought. But I did end up staying there, and a few people left, which opened up the opportunity for me to go from receptionist to office manager by the time I was 19 years old. So although it was a very difficult time, it was a time of learning. I then went on to multiple other specialties. But as far as PT, I had taken a very long break. I took a break to raise and homeschool my 4 children. So I had 11 years out of the industry. When it was time for my children to finally go into school, I needed a job because my kids were going into private schools. And so I started searching Indeed, and I came upon a physical therapist locally who was looking for someone who could help her out with her billing. Mind you, when I had been in the business, I'm talking ledger cards and super bills and carbon copy receipts. So it had been a long time. And what she needed was someone to start her. She was not billing electronically, and she needed someone to start billing her claims out electronically. And I don't know what possessed me after 11 years to say, sure, I can do that, because I had no idea what I was doing. But I applied and got the job. And so that was also lofty because I had to bring her manual, typewritten claim forms onto WebPT and Cario. And she had complete faith in me, and it ended up going very well. And so I stayed with her for 3 years. And I thought, if I can do this for one practitioner, I could probably do it for multiple practitioners on my own time. And I really needed that autonomy. And although it broke my heart to leave her because she had also become a good friend, she understood. And of course, she's still my client. that's when I was awakened to physical therapy billing. One thing led to another, and here I am almost 6 years later with a thriving business.
I love that story. This, what you just told me, kind of touches on a lot of things that I constantly tell my subscribers. Like, you've had over 20 years of experience, you had a whole and full life. You started your business, you were still nervous, even though you were fully capable of doing it. Because I
For
think a lot
sure.
of people, yeah, start businesses, medical billing businesses, and they're constantly, they never get past that fear. And I'm always trying to tell people, it's like, you know it, you've done it. You just have to start the company. That kind of like, I like hearing stories like yours, because even though you are switching somebody over from carbon copy to electronic format, you are just starting your business, you still did it and thrived and loved
Yes.
it, and then didn't want to leave, so it was like,
Yes.
I love these kind of success stories, because to me it's like, that fear in the beginning. And so,
Absolutely. There's always doubt. There's always doubt. Sure. But you won't
awesome.
know unless you try.
Exactly. So 6 years later, and you've got a thriving business with multiple practitioners in your business. So that's wonderful.
Yes. Yes. Thanks.
So I get contacted by physical therapists all the time looking for billers, and they're looking to, they ask me what kind of questions should they be asking me in their interview process. What type of experience should they be looking for when they're looking to hire a medical biller, because they're having problems. And I found that a lot of their issues are universal. And so, what type of issues do you find are very common in the PT industry?
Well, I can only speak for the PT industry, but I think it's a universal issue in talking with other billers. A lot of the issues stem from the front desk. We all know the revenue cycle begins at the front desk. And wouldn't it be a beautiful world if all the information came in clean and the claims were submitted clean? And that's a reality. That can happen. However, a lot of the time, much of the time, it does not. And unfortunately, it's because of untrained or poorly trained front office staff, or they just don't have the experience, and it's not their fault. It's really just lack of training. And I find that that's such an important job. It's such an important aspect of any provider's office. And if that position is filled thoughtfully, that eliminates a whole host of issues.
I'm so glad you said that, because I've said that several times. I think it's when you're dealing with a private practice, a clinic, a group, a hospital, they see the front desk, they see intake as just almost like a throwaway department. Just get them in and
Yes,
then we'll figure it out. But get them in and then we'll figure it out is where most, if not all, of your problems stem from. That
yes,
department has to be so dedicated to accuracy, because if they're doing their job correctly, and if they're trained properly, and they have the right tools and resources to do their job properly, then the rest of the process is super easy, and
absolutely.
they're going to get more
Yeah,
reimbursement.
yes, yes.
And it's like, I talk to people like you, I talk
Think
to
about
you,
that.
your physical therapy billing over in upstate, and all kinds of different people, Massachusetts, California, Seattle, and it's all the same.
Yes,
So when I hear medical billing business owners like yourself saying that, I know I'm talking to a true expert, because I know you got the
absolutely.
key.
Yes, yes.
Now that we know that's kind of where many of the problems stem from, we understand
Mhm.
that, and they probably know that if they're watching. So it's interesting that we're both on the same page about the problems and the intake and how important that is. As a business owner who specializes in PT, and you have several practices who call you and ask you for help, what do you find is the common issue that they call you about? What is prompting practices and practitioners to call you?
Generally, most of my practices call me when they're underwater. They think
Yes.
things are going well until one day they realize they're not. And it's often because they're using a large billing company. And that's not to say there aren't wonderful large billing companies, because there are. But there are many who cycle through employees so quickly
Yeah.
that the provider is frustrated because they can never get the same person. There's no consistency, and they don't think they care about their accounts.
Yeah.
So when they call someone like me, who is a solo business owner, they're looking for more personalized service. They want to know that they can pick up the phone, or they can text me, or they can email me. And to a fault, I'm there. Don't know when to shut my business off. And we're always working. I think you probably, Rachel, are the same. When
Yeah.
you are a business owner, it's hard to put boundaries on that. But that's often what they're looking for. They're saying, oh my goodness, I wish I had done this years before. I had no idea. That is the most common issue. And I urge providers, like, don't get to that point. Don't get underwater, because then it takes so much more time and money to right that ship. So, yeah.
The benefit of that is that because you're dedicated to them, that is temporary, right? So it's usually in the beginning, it's
Correct.
constant. You've got to, they're texting and calling and they're panicking for good
Yes.
reason.
Yes.
And then because you are a billing company that is locally situated, you're in the United States, you're dedicated to their account,
Yeah.
these problems get cleared up quicker than a bigger company, because
Absolutely.
you know it. And then also too, it's like, yeah, don't let it get underwater. But of course, you can say that, but are they going to listen to us? They have to be underwater sometimes to start making a change.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
would always say, like, too, like, for practitioners, when I talk to them, especially like PTs, it's like, don't look at your underwater status and be like, I can't. I just have to work with what I got because I don't have any money. We're already under, like I'm having a hard time making payroll. So it kind of stops them from reaching out to a company like yours, who could
Right.
literally change their whole game by just improving their reimbursements, right? But they're stuck in that,
Absolutely.
I already have a biller and I cannot get reimbursed. So
Right.
I always tell practitioners, you you have to get past that fear and the numbers, right? The logical numbers of,
Right.
I cannot pay an outsourcing company to help me because I don't have the money. You
Absolutely.
don't have the money because you don't have the right help. You get the right help.
Yeah.
By the invoice time, you'll have the money because the new
Right.
biller is going to help you and help your in-house biller.
And to that point, Rachel, I have had a few clients who I paid for myself the first 2 or 3 months, because I was able to recover AR that in some cases they didn't even know they had.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful, when they didn't even have to pay anything out of pocket, essentially, because
Yes.
that was found money. And that happens more often than not.
Yes, and that's hard to kind of explain to a practitioner
is.
who's underwater, that as us, we, with our experience, we're like, listen, you've got the money. You've got the money to
Right.
pay me. You've got the money to pay all your staff.
Yeah.
You just need the right person to get that money into your pocket.
Right.
And I need you to be a little less fearful of what you currently see in your bank account, because I'm going to add more to that.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, by the end of that month and that billing cycle, you're going to see that it was practically free because you didn't realize you had that money anyway.
Exactly.
Coming back to you.
Exactly. And then, trust is an issue. I understand that. They
Yes.
don't know me, they don't know that what I'm capable of doing. But I am capable of looking at that AR and saying, that's recoverable. That'll get you over the hump until your revenue cycle is looking more healthy. And that happens most of the time.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about fees and services. So tell us a little bit about your services and what you offer at Flexible Billing Solutions.
Yeah, sure. So I named my business Flexible Billing Solutions because it's kind of a play on words. We all know with physical therapy, it's all about being flexible.
Right.
And as a billing business, I try to be flexible as well. So I am open to providing the services that the provider needs. But for the most part, I like to partner with my practices. I like the front desk to typically do verification of benefits. I like them to do the authorizations, because I just think it's more practical for the in-house staff to do those tasks. But if the provider is looking for that service from me, I'm open to that as well. So I would typically submit all the claims, post all payments. I will send statements. I would have a sliding scale between 8 and 10%.
Okay, that sounds very reasonable to me because with PT, especially if you can get the billing up and running correctly,
Right.
and if you can get that reimbursement rate to be almost, you know, 90, 95%, then they're going to grow so exponentially because that money's going to flow through, that rate is really reasonable.
Right. And also, what I do for my new providers is I don't start within New York. I don't start at the higher rate because we all know for the first 3 months, that's the transition period from whatever they were doing prior. There's going to be more hours put in. So I normally charge a lesser rate until we get to that 90-day period.
Yeah.
I just think that's fair. Yes. And one of my one of my clients paid me the highest compliment. She told me one day, you know what? I can sleep at night, I can go on vacation, and I never give my practice another thought because I know you're minding the store. And that meant everything to me because that is exactly what I'm trying to convey to my providers, that I do have your back, and I'm minding your store while you do what you were trained to do and what you love to
That's so nice. Yes.
do.
Okay, so if a practice and a practitioner is looking for your services and they call you, what is the timeline from the time they call you or put in a contact me form on your website to the time you are billing their first claim? What should they expect from that?
Sure. So usually that's going to depend on the current software or billing company that they're using. If they're already using WebPT and or Cario or Therabill, honestly, it can be less than a week. What I like to do is sign a BAA together, and that gives me the option to take a look at the accounts and just look at the assessment for them and say, gosh, things look pretty good. Just let them know my opinion on what's going on so far. So in a case like that, it's really just days. If they have to transition from another billing company, that's hard to say, but we certainly make it happen as quickly and painlessly as possible.
And so, where can they find you? What are your contacts and social medias?
Sure, absolutely. So email is just flexiblebillingsolutions@gmail.com. My website is Flexible Billing Solutions. Instagram is flexible_billing_solutions. LinkedIn is just my name, Joanne Pigliavento. And they can also call or text me at 518-275-1629.
Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining us today, Joanne. It was a pleasure getting to know you and learning a little bit about your business.
Oh, it was a pleasure being with you, and I really appreciate you taking the time with me today, Rachel.
Have a great day.
Thanks. You do the same. Bye-bye.
Eco, 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 top. Hey.